Yeah. So there's something that I really want to say, right? And it's a simple logic, right? Let's assume you want to learn how to drive, right? How would you go about it? First of all, you go to a training, and then after the 7 days training, right, you have to keep driving almost every day, right? And the more you drive, the better you become. Some of us are familiar with games, right? PS4, PS5, right? The first few times that we play it, right, our friends will trash us 6-0, 7-0, 10-0, 30 zeros in some cases, right? But you become so invested in it, you become so interested in it that you play it every day, right? And it becomes tougher for that your friend to beat you, right? You dedicate so much time to that every day you at least play 2 sets, right? And before you know it, you become really good that your friend cannot beat you easily again. And as the time goes by, right, you become so good that you actually now start beating that your friend, right? It's the same thing with design. The only way to get better at design is to design, right? The only way to get better at design is to design. And a great exercise, right? Go and ask anyone, right? A great exercise is to actually replicate or recreate designs that other people have done. Trust me, if you commit to doing at least 5 redesigns every day, just go on Instagram or Pinterest, collect as many designs as possible and create at least 5 every day. In the next 1 month, trust me, your design skills is going to be so off the roof, right? One of the things that you understand that you immediately start picking things like the use of color, alignment, which is also grid, the use of typography, right? You start to pick up this, oh, this person did this like this person did it like this. Okay, I can let me borrow from this person, let me borrow from this one that I did. And before you know, you start imagining these things, right? It start coming to you naturally, right? I'm a proponent of mastering the basics, right? Which is why I haven't really been particular about any tool, right? If you master the basics, right, which is okay, today I'll do 5 redesigns, and after the 5 redesigns, you look at your designs. Okay, this is how they place item design elements on this flyer. I really like it, right? You've learned down. Oh, this is how this person makes this color and this color. It has synced in. Oh, so this is how I can present stuff at the footer, at the bottom of the design. Oh, so this is how I can use image. I can actually just cut it out or use it as a full or use it as a background, and you begin to assimilate these things one at a time unknowingly. Trust me, if you now do it for 6 months, by the end of that 6 months, you'd at least get an internship, right? Based on your design skills. And which is why I would also want to encourage you. If you can't do 5, if it is 2 that you can do, try to do. If you are so busy, right, just dedicate at least between 10 to 30 minutes. If it's even one that you can do, just do one before you sleep, or maybe immediately when you wake up in the morning, try to do that one and go to your work or go to your school. And if you do this consistently for 6 months, trust me, you're going to become very good at design. Um, Without further ado, right? Today we are talking about color and typography. Hmm. Typography in design, right? Typography is the art of arranging letters and text in a way that makes the copy legible, clear, and visually appealing to the reader, right? Can you see my screen? Ah, sorry. Thought I was sharing my screen. Can you see it now? Yeah. I think someone is trying to come in. Yeah. So typography is the art of arranging letters and text in a way that makes the copy legible, clear, and visually appealing. Right. To help us understand how to use typography, right, I have 6 rules that you need to follow to the core, right? These are rules that if you follow them, your designs will always look awesome. Ah, that reminds me, I said I was going to like review the yesterday's assignment. So after like this, my presentation and my discussion on this issue, then we'll go back to the review, and then we use that to end the class. So again, typography is the art of arranging. So if you look at my screen now, you see that I've carefully arranged the typography. My screen is blank. Is it the same for everyone else? Maybe 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 you should join again. All right. All right. Yeah. So there are 6 rules of typography, right? And this rule, if you were in class yesterday, we talked about the first one, right? Justify left. So what does justify left mean, right? Yesterday we talked about justify, right? If I can remember clearly, that I did a series of example using frames like this, and I was like, put everything on the left. Do you remember from yesterday's class? Yeah. So this is an important hack, right? To make your designs look great off the bats, right? Just justify left. So this is what I mean. I'm going to just so justify left. Justify left means that your design should be on the same line, right? The main content should be on the same line, right? If you look at if you look at this Ogbeni Dipo now and this um, rounded square, you see that it's on the same line, right? On the same line. Let me bring this ruler, right? It's on the same line. But imagine if this was here now, right? And this is here, and this is here, right? You can see that it doesn't make any. I mean, it's design, oh, but I mean this is still fine. Let me just do something more jagaga-ish. Imagine everything is just scattered like like this. This is still design, right? But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't direct the eye. Someone is trying to join. It doesn't direct the eye on where the eye should go first. Uh, um, there's no clear visual direction on what you want the person to take out of the design, right? But if we go back to this, right, the person can clearly read this, Ogbeni Dipo Education Fund and move to the graphic design and move to Abayomi Shemudara and then come here and then read this to make your designs look great, justify left, right? Then I'm going to still put more text and then I'll reduce the size. This is me adding more text to emphasize this role as an important rule that you shouldn't forget, right? So the first rule, justify left. Let's say I even still want to add more stuff, maybe like a footer. I'll say first rule of typography, justify left. Then I'll reduce it a bit and I'll keep it here. You can see that, okay, let's increase the, okay, maybe medium. Yeah. So you can see that this looks awesome, right? But imagine this is just like this, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? So you need to keep the first rule, you need to keep everything to the left, right? And then when you are now badass, right? You are badass designer, you can now say, okay, let me break this rule and do my own thing, right? Let me instead of aligning to the left, I want to align to the right, right? For you to break any rule, you have to keep this in mind. For you to break any rule, you have to understand that rule, right? And you have to have tested the rule, right? I mean, this still works, right? But it could be better, right? You have to take your time to now arrange the elements to make it look really great. You can see that off the bat, like this already looks, the initial one looks like really better than what we have right now, right? So the first rule, align, justify left rather. And the second rule, yesterday, the rule was that you should use only one color. Today, the second rule for typography or for your font is that you should use only one font, right? Some people will do this as beginners, right? Actually, I have one example on the group chat. Let me see if I can find it. I'm sorry if this is your work. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, we are all learning, so we need to like see what um, we need to see like from practical. So this is one of it, right? This is number one font, right? This is one. This is another font. I think I know this font. I've used this font before. This is two. This is another font. This is another font, right? That's one, two, three. This is four, right? This is five. So this person used five fonts in one design, right? That's why this design is not. That's one of the reasons why this design is not looking good. I don't know where you found this picture. I don't think I maybe on my Twitter share. I don't know. but it's yeah. So I mean, this looks okay, right? The person used only one font I can see, right? Or two. I think two. It looks pretty okay, but it's not there yet. Uh, Load. There's one I'm really looking for, right? But this is okay for starters. It's okay. Uh, why is this not loading? Why are you not loading? Oh, that. Let me see if I can airdrop it from my phone. Okay, that's gone. Yesterday I said use one color, but you can see this person used about two, three colors, and that's why I would say that's why the design is not looking. I like what this person did, right? Person used the color of my hair to sort of give, which makes sense, right? Which makes sense, but use one color, right? We have three colors here now, or four. We have one, two, three. We have four. Use one color. So if you look at this again now, we have one, two, three. That's the fonts. One, two, three. Three fonts. Three fonts. Don't use three fonts. So this person use one, two, three, three. I think that's. I think this one is another font. That's four. That's four. That's four fonts. Don't do that. There's one I'm looking for in particular. Particular. I mean, this person used one, two, three fonts, right? I mean, this is okay layout wise, right? But don't use uh three fonts in a design. No, it's not correct. Yeah, see this design. One, two, three, uh, and all of this picture fighting for attention, right? This is not a good design, but it's a good try, right? We all go from, if I show you my early designs, they are really whack, right? So these are some of the things that you will now show yourself maybe 5 months down the road and say, my design was bad then, but now I'm improving, right? There's one I'm also looking for that I have not seen. Yeah, this one, right? In a bit to sort of, in a bit to sort of sometimes we do too much, right? And design is really about simplicity, right? It's about there is a quote that senior designers, right? Or don't let me use the word senior, like good designers, they look for what to take out, right? But beginner designers, they look for what to add, right? So in your designs, it should be aiming towards simplicity, minimalism, right? Let's look at the number of fonts here. One, two, three, four, five, six. So there is a total of six fonts, right? On this flyer. So let me redesign this, right? Using only one font. Paste it here. So I'm going to design this entire thing with one font, right? So the first thing is Ogbeni Dipo Education Fund. Going to reduce this and put it at the top, right? And then I'll say present. And I'm going to put it at the center. And I'm going to do this lights, and I'm going to do this graphics design training. I'm going to increase the font size, put it at the center, reduce this, put it at the center. I'm going to now do this. Da, 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 boom, boom. So I'm going to do this to put the picture here. I'm going to also do this. So yep. Um, okay, let me just bring the picture. I didn't want to bring the picture before. Buff. People, Benny people. Boom, 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 boom. Damn, bro. I like this picture. Just going to copy it and paste in here. And I'll just where is right. And I'm going to do this. Bring my own picture in. Boom, 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 boom. Um, right. That's my picture in. And let's use one of the colors. The colors. Da, 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 da. So what else can we add to make this design pop? So you could also do this like this. And keep everything to the left. Right. Then I'm going to do this just to add some sort of what's it called now? Some life to it, right? I mean, but you get the basic idea, right? Which is to make it as simple as possible. I'm going to send this to the back, right? And so maybe change the color to that color. And yeah, let's do this. So maybe also add something here with this color. Boom, 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 boom. I don't like this her color. I think this color. Da, da, da. Let's see this one. Nah, what's up? What's up? What's So I mean, you could do this. Da-dum. Dum. So you could do that. Da da da. Lecturer. So you could do that. You could do da 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 da. Then to borrow this and send it here and send it back. Then to copy this to and put it here. Send it down a bit. The left. Yeah. Left. Or even turn this to a box. I like that. How do I turn it to a box? Anyway, you get the idea, right? So use only one font instead of all of these fonts, right? Within the same font, I have this bold one, small. I have this um I have this light one, right? So I'm changing the font weight here, right? I have this. Okay, so let me use this medium to explain uh, this, right? So there are different kind of fonts. Yeah. The first one we call them sans serif, right? The second type we call them serif. Yeah, serif. Then there is, so I will just categorize them as three for now, but there are more. So there's the one that is handwriting or handwritten, whichever one. Handwriting, right? Barcelona, right? So this classification of Portazios, are you raising your hand? Okay. Yeah, yeah, you can call it calligraphy too, or handwriting, or there's one other name they call it again. Let me check this website. So you can call it calligraphy, you can call it handwriting or handwritten, and then you could also call it those classification. Some of them are brush like, but usually between handwriting and this calligraphy, right? So yeah. So for this sans serif, right, when you are using them, they make the brands look very modern, right? Like a design that is born in the 2020s, right? Like a design that was born yesterday, right? But for serif, it's usually for brands that want to present themselves as prestige, as royal, right? Because all these typography too, they have different meanings, right? So for sans serif, it's usually modern, techy. So if you look at all the tech brands now, right? If you look at tech brands, you see that most of them have sans serif, which means without serif. So I hope their logos are here. Please add their logo. Can you load up? Jeez, this network is always annoying. Can you load this picture? Let's move on. Yeah, so you can see Microsoft is sans serif, right? How do you know it's sans serif? Let me show you. These things, right? These things at the end, right? That's how you know it's sans serif. If you look at serif rather, if you look at this sans serif, right, it doesn't have these extensions, right? It doesn't have them. So that's how you know that this is a serif font and this is a sans serif font. So if you look at Microsoft, see their logo, it doesn't have all those edges. So brands that want to present themselves as modern, right, they usually go with sans serif, right? I'm looking for Amazon. I saw Amazon earlier. So you look at Google. Google is presenting itself as a modern tech brand, right? And that's why you have it using this sans serif logo. Look at Android. Look at YouTube, right? If you look at Apple's font too, it's sans serif, right? Amazon too is sans serif, right? It doesn't have those extensions at the end of the text, right? If you look more, even Meta, I don't know why the logo is not there. Do, do. See this one too, right? So most tech brands, right, they want to look modern, so they stick with sans serif. Now, if you look at brands that want to position themselves as luxury, for luxury, right? They want to position for luxury, for prestige, for heritage, for history. You usually see them with sans serif logo. If you look at Dior, you see that their logo is you can see the extension, right? You can see. So this type of brand, they position themselves as luxury brands, right? So when you are working with luxury, you tend to like use. And then if you want the thing to feel very human and homemade, then you can use handwriting, right? So that's about typography. So what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to, for all the classes we've done so far, I'm going to compile several links, right? That points to websites where you can read more about each of these topics. I'm going to share it to the group tomorrow or on Sunday, right? So, use one font. That's the second rule that has gotten us here, right? Then this the third rule is to skip one weight, right? So if you look at the design I've done here, you see that there's a difference between this text, this font, and this font, even though they are literally the same. That deals with the weight of the font, right? If you look at this one is light, right? And then if you look at this one is bold, right? So that's what I mean here by skip one weight. In terms of font weight, we usually have we have um, we have light, we have regular, we have semi bold, we have bold, and then we have black. Let me show you an example of a font that has all of those HK text, right? So I think this one even has more. So if you look at this, okay, this one even they have thin, they have extra light, they have regular, they have medium, they have semi bold, they have extra bold, they have extra bold, and they have black. Now, if I were to use these ones now in the design, right? This is what skip one weight mean. It means that if you used light, for instance, right, and then uh you want to differentiate element on that on the design, don't use regular next, right? Skip this regular and move to semi bold, right? Let's say you now want to create another, you want to add another text, right? That you need to differentiate. Don't use bold, use black, right? That's what skip one weight means, and that's what I have done here, right? You can see that here I use bold, right? Because this is an important information, right? It needs to be legible. You need to know that, okay, it's Ogbeni Dipo Foundation that is funding this. But this present is less important, right? That's why I've used light. So you can use this varying font weight to actually emphasize what's going on. And then this one is also important. I've also used bold, right? I've used bold and I've also made it bigger because that's like the focal point. Now, if you look here, I use light, right? But if you see here, I use medium, right? Which is also skipping one weight. Now I use light here, but I made the font bigger. But I use bold and then I use medium and then I made it smaller. So that's how you start thinking about skipping one weight, right? Yeah. So if I were to do another one now, right, I'll say this information is not important, right? I'll use team, right? I mean, you can still see it, but not very well. And then I'll say this information is relatively important, right? So instead of using extra light, I will skip this extra light and then I'll go to light, right? So let's move on. The next information. This information is important. So instead of using regular, I'm not going to use regular. I'm going to use medium, right? And let's do another one. Is really important. So instead of using semi-bold, I'll use bold. This information is urgent. Instead of using extra bold, I'm going to use black, right? So that's how you should think about using fonts in your in your designs. Then double point size, right? Now, because I've been designing for a while now, right? So I know I can already like just guess the numbers that works. But for starters, right, this is what double point size means. right? As this is the main point, or the what I want people to see first, you can see the size is 118, right? The next thing that I'm going to do, right, which is the next point, here is what's next. I'm going to divide it by 2, right? And that's going to be the size of my next font, right? If I have another thing that I want to add that is not very important, I'm going to divide it by 2 again, right? And that's so if you look at this now, you can see that this my font that I have here and this one, I mean they are very close in size. That's because I can already guess which works based on like how long I've been doing this, and um, just eyeballing it, I can already tell. But for beginners like you, always just divide the number by 2. In the same vein, if I started from this, right, I'll just multiply it by 2, right? You can use your calculator to do it if the browser you're using or the app you're using doesn't let you do this math. Just bring out your calculator, 29.5 times 2, right? So this is the first one, right? And then this is the next one. And then I'm going to multiply this again by 2. And that's how you do that. So let's see this design now. You can see this is 38, right? Let's say I multiply by what I would ideally do if I were you just beginning, and I want to use this graphic design training, right? I'll multiply this by 2, multiply by 2, right? And then I would do this graphic design training, right? If it is not big enough for you, right, you want it to be a bit bigger, you can now also now multiply it again by 2, right? And then if it's like too big, right, you can decide to now multiply it by 1.6, multiply by 1.6, and that should give you a decent size, right? So remember, so you can see that from the first thing I did was to multiply it by 2, right, which gave us this size. All right. But I wanted it to still be bigger. So the first next thing I did was to add multiply it by 2 again. But it looks too big for the purpose I wanted it for. So instead of multiplying it by 2, I multiplied it by 1.6. And that gave us a similar size as to what we currently have now. Again, it's because I've been doing this for a while. That's why I'm able to tell that okay, this size is nice, this size is okay, and this size is okay, right? So if you look at this now, if you look at this, if I divide it by 2, right, it's almost the same size as this one, right? It's about 4 points, 3 points difference, right? So always is either you divide by 2 or multiply by 2. But if you multiply by 2 and it's too big than what you really want, or is looking bigger than every other element in the design, then multiply by 1.6 or divide by 1.6. I hope that is clear. So you can see that with and again it's because I've been doing this for a while, that's why I'm able to like tell that. So from this now, you divide it by 2 and that will give you the size of this guy here. So yes, double point, that's what I meant by double point size, right? Then the fifth rule, which is what we have been talking about since yesterday, which is to align to one axis. Align to one axis. This is what this means. If you look at this design now, it is aligned to the center, right? I did not put some elements at the left hand side and some at the right hand side. Everything is aligned to the center, right? So if you are doing your design and you want center alignment, please, by all means, make every other thing center alignment. Now, if you look at this other design, I want it to be left alignment. Hence, I made everything, this should come to the side a bit. I made everything left aligned, right? And if you look at all the designs here, you see that everything is left aligned, right? And this one that is on the vertical axis, one is not here, another one is not here, right? It's all on the same side, right? You can literally use the ruler to trace the line, and it's literally all on the same line, right? So that's what I meant by align on one axis. So like you can either do left alignment or center alignment. And if you look at social media, um, other social media, you can literally see that this, if you put your ruler here and measure, you see that this is aligned properly. You can see like it's aligned to the left, right? You can see. If I still take my ruler, you can still see that it's still aligned up until the last element, right? So you should take note of that when you are designing, right? Don't let your design scatter everywhere. So if you look at this now, one element is touching here, right? Ideally, everything should be on this line, right? Which the next rule even breaks this one, right? You can see that nothing is aligned here. Everything is scattered, right? Everything is everywhere, right? So always note that. Always take note of that. It literally puts ruler, right? Literally puts ruler and measure it. Is everything on the same line, right? And you want to make sure that everything is on the same line. Okay, that also reminds me, right? Okay, but let's just finish this. Wetin dey sup? Abeg, shey na only me wey dey yarn? Na wa o. You for don burst me now. Say you no dey hear. Anyway, good that you are back. So if you even see this design sef, this one that I just put here, like it just makes sense that everything, your eye can breathe properly, that everything is just on the same line. But if it's like this, you will not even know where to start, right? So as a designer, you are helping people understand. You are helping people um, um, you're helping people get the information you are trying to pass, right? So that's what I meant by align to one axis. Then the last but not the least, I mean there are several other rules, but I think these are like the most important one that I want you guys to learn. The most important one, and I've seen that a lot of you are making that mistake, is to avoid the corners. So if you look at my own design, there's always breathing space, right? Imagine you are inside BRT, right? And everybody is just funko, everybody is just like gumming each other. You will not breathe well, right? It's the same way your design is, right? If you don't give them room, they will not breathe well. They will literally be suffocating, right? If you look at this, there's no room, right? It's literally suffocating my neck right now, right? Wọ́n fún ọrùn yẹn. So you need to, if you look at my own design, like there is enough space, right? So you need to give ample space, right? So yeah, space to the side, space to the top. You can see that I left a ample space, right? Ample space, right? So it will help guide your users. Okay, this is the information. This one is not related, but it's part of the information. This is another information. This is another information, and that's another information. So let's go to this website now. You see that they have space, right? They have space everywhere. Let's go to another website. Let's go to Apple's website. Spotify too. Let's check Spotify. Bandman, these ones have changed their. Oh, celebrate announcement with iconic. It's special audio. So you can see there's like space. If you see here, from here to here, there's space, there's space, there's space. From here to here, there is no space for the picture to shine. Look at space. Look at space. So you need to give your designs, look at space. You can see the space, right? It makes your design look more mature, right? Let's look at Spotify too. Yeah. So you can also see they've given enough space, right? Even though this is like a player, right? So they've given enough space to be able to see what's going on, right? Space, space. Let's go to IG. Let's see IG. Like enough breathing space from here to here. All this information are related, right? But this one is not related to all this information. So they use space to differentiate, right? This logo is not related to this information. They've used enough space to differentiate. But all this other information, they are part of what you need, right? They are related. That's why the space is equal, right? So I hope you get that part, right? So I wanted to review. Okay, first of all, let me ask: do you have any questions? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Potter, yeah, let's go. Okay. Anyone else? Question. All right. So I'll go ahead and review. Where's that first one I said I was going to review? Yes, it's okay. This person submitted first. Cheesy. Babao. Please help me and clap for this our brother Cheesy. Unmute your mic and clap for him. Pa, 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 pa. So I mean, he has done a very good job, like in replicating the designs, and I want us to really give him his flowers, and that's why I said we should clap for him, right? We have done really well, right? If I go to the Instagram, right? I go to the Instagram and show you. Um, by the way, are you people following me on Instagram, on Twitter, and all those places? Ah, it's literally the same thing everywhere. I really like this one, right? Because this is the original design here. You can see that he really put a lot of effort into the design. I saw it. Yeah. So this is the original design, right? I mean, you can see that he puts effort into it, right? And this is what I've I've been talking about, right? Just try to. I mean, it doesn't have to be like you don't have to use the images that they used on the design, right? You can see that the image is different, right? but the concept is still the same, right? So what I would just say is that beware of this. This your logo is not written. If you see their own, right? There's I don't know if you can see my screen very well now. There's enough space, right, for the logo to breathe, right? Enough space for the logo to breathe, right? But from your own, right, there's not enough space. So you need to allow your logo breathe, right? But regardless, very good job. Yeah. Kudos. So you just need to like do this every other day, right? The other design too, e be like now cheaper people now and then they what's the design now? I think it's Taiwo. Is it Taiwo? Okay, Asmido. So I want us to also give a round of applause for Asmido. He was actually the first person to submit. Please submit your mic and yeah, really good, really good stuff, right? Really good stuff. So there's a comment here, right? Okay. So if you look at these images very well, you might not see it, but I'm going to point it out. It looks like they are pressed, right? It looks like they are pressed. I'm going to show you an example now. Back to this. Uh, wait, come give me love and no be chila chila aya aya. This your love will get in meaning for my Lord you. So look at this, right? Ah, Figma, Figma, oh, Figma will let me do my example very well. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, exactly. Now these two pictures are exactly the same thing, right? They are exactly the same thing, but one looks pressed, one looks squashed, right? So if you are bringing in images, right, make sure you they are like how like make sure they are scaled at the right proportion, right? And what usually causes that if you are using I think Illustrator is best to explain this one that so if you are bringing in image the way this thing is designed, it doesn't allow like you to really stretch things like that. I'm going to use Illustrator now to explain it better. But I think like you get the general idea, right? Is either if you're using your laptop, is either you hold down shift, right? So that you scale proportionally, right? You scale proportionally. But I'm not sure what the equivalent is on mobile phone. But just take note of that, right? These images look squashed. That's why the design is a bit tricky to the eye. But well done, well done, well done. So yeah, another thing I wanted to discuss is file formats, right? File formats. Where is my text? Where is all the text? Yeah, file formats. So there are different kind of file formats, right? So we have .jpg, For JPEG, we have dot PNG, we have dot SVG, we have dot AI. What's that Illustrator Corel Draw extension, file extension? I think it's CWR or okay, CDR, Corel Draw, right? So we have all this. There is plenty of them. Even music self, you see dot MP3 for yeah, yeah, PFD. That's for PDF. Oh, PSD. You said PSD. Okay, PSD for Photoshop. Yeah, PSD for Photoshop. Yes. So even for videos, you see dot MP4, right? But we're not talking about music and MP3 right now. So for JPG, right, you can't change the color, right? So let's say I get a logo, right? Because someone had issue with that. I'm sure that some of you also might have issue with it. Let's say you get cheaper cash logo from Google, right? You get this white one, yeah. Let's say you get this white one, and then let's say you remove the let's say you remove the let's say you remove the background, yes, right. And then you now put this on a white background, right? It won't show, right? And there is no way for you to edit, to add your own color to it. If I add a color to it now, um, it's just going to cover everything, right? You can see that the cheaper has disappeared, right? So for for JPEG, you can't do anything to it, right? However, there are tweaks to it, right? So if I were in Photoshop, for instance, right? If I were in Photoshop, okay, my Photoshop is open. Photoshop is open. My Photoshop is open. Da, 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 da. So let's say I bring it in, right? And then I remove the background, like subjects. Uh, so I mean this is a rough one, right? But I just want to explain. This is still bad, right? So you could see that it's still even bad, right? But there are some. If I took my time to remove all these black spots, right? Then I could, okay, let's just do that. But it's just going to like take a lot of time, right? So for images, right, you can't easily change their color. That's the point I'm really driving at, right? So it's either you find another image, right, where you downloaded this from, find the one that has a black background, a white background, because you are using it on the so let's say I download this one now. I can easily use this one, right? I can easily use this one on my design and it will work because it's a white background against a white background, right? So that's for PNG and JPEG, right? You can see that this already works, right? It already works. I just need to remove and then it will show. So that's the point I'm driving at. But for you see SVG, AI, CRB, these are editable formats, right? The way these formats, file formats are designed is that you can actually edit them. So for Nigerian logos, you can go to this site, right? nigerianlogos.com, right? And you find like plenty logos of different brands. So if I download, let's say I download, so you can see again, there is PNG and there is SVG. If I download this PNG, let me just download it, right? I can't change the color here when I bring it to my design. When I bring it to my let me just download the second one. So notes, I'm going to download this one now. Okay, I'm going to download this one now, and then I'm going to bring it in. This is the first one. Let me put the number on it and say one. So this is the second logo, right? You can see that this has allowed me, it has even put the color here, and I can change the color to whatever I like, right? But for this one, I can't change the color. If I try to change the color here, feel, it will just, it's not even allowing me changing it. If I add another color to it and increase the opacity, right, it will just go off, right? So that's the difference between PNG and PSD. The name of this site is nigerianlogos.com. So if you are looking for foreign logos, for instance, you just say Apple logo. Is that in the color you want? Maybe in black, if you want it in black, or if you want it in white, or better still, just say Apple logo SVG, right? And then it will bring the SVG version of the logo. So you can either download it one of these places, right? So I hope that is clear. So for PNG and JPEG, you can't edit the colors, right? But for logos that are in SVG, AI, CRD, PSD, you can actually edit the color. What else did I want to talk about? I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. Yes, today, today, today. So our assignment is still the same way we did yesterday's assignment or the last assignment, right? The only difference is if you have done cheaper cash before, you can't do cheaper cash again, right? You have to choose maybe child deck or steers insight or my Yahoo. So if you've done one before out of these five, you can't do it again. You have to choose another one. So that's the project. So you have to pick a brand, go to their Instagram page, pick five flyers, recreate the design as close as possible, upload the Google Drive, and share it to the group. So that's pretty much everything from my end this night. I'm hoping you guys will have a question or two for me, and then I could talk about that. Any question? I thought about a lot of things, so at least you guys should have one or two questions. All right. Thanks. Don Aflad, you are going to raise your hand. Okay, Chibuzo. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So um, I'm going to list five: the vertical, Tura, Nexa, Space Good Text. This one I'm using currently is called Space Good Text, right? Um, which other one? So this is what I'm going to do here. We can start with this four. When I'm sending the oh sorry, I stopped sharing. I thought I was still sharing. Sorry. So we have can you see my screen now? Yeah, so we have Evaltica, we have Futura, we have Nexa, we have Space Gotex. The one I'm using on my screen right now is called Space Gotex. Space Gotex. But these are other alternatives. So here's what I'm going to do. The resource I'm going to send tomorrow, right? There's going to be a section for fonts there, and there's going to be a link for you to be able to download those fonts, right? And yeah, so just remind me tomorrow on the group that I said I was going to send the resource. So for everything that we've been doing since the beginning of this of the training, right? I'm going to send several links for you to study grid, study color, study typography, so you can get more theoretical knowledge about it. And then on top of that, I'm also going to attach YouTube links, right, where you can learn more on design, the kind of creators you should follow. By the way, follow me on Instagram and follow me on Twitter. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, it's the same handle, right? I use the same handle everywhere. So Shemunda Rabayomi, right here. This is the handle right here. So this should be typography. Follow me everywhere, retweet my stuff, like my stuff, and all of that. All right. So in the absence of no other question, I'm going to, or if there's any other question, I'm going to count five, four, three, two, one. Do you have a question? What's your question about? Is it about what? Yeah. But I'm going to share the link to the book so you can watch it over. Is that right? Is that fine? All right. Taiwo, Taiwo. Yeah. Do you have a question? All right. Have a good night, everyone, and see you in the next class. Don't forget, my DM is open. If you have any question, any trouble, send me a DM or ask. I'm happy to help. All right. Bye.